Exactly. Anyway, again, I was watching his most recent interview with Russell Brand, who, like Zach said, we're both fans of. And I just thought this was funny because tell me, guys, if you catch this as well. But it seems like he kind of not only explains but completely sympathizes with the position of redistribution of wealth and of socialism, frankly. So I thought this was interesting, and I'll be interesting to see if you guys caught this as well.
An own goal kind of sorts, kind of a deal.
Yeah, exactly. But
He's a very
maybe who knows? Maybe with his time in Russia, addicted to Zoloft, weaning himself off of opioids or whatever the fuck.
Zoloft, I believe, is benzodiazepine.
Is a benzo? Yeah, you're right. Anyway, maybe he had a change of heart. Maybe he realized that everyone needed the same kind of medical care that he was receiving. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he realized that being a cruel piece of shit was not the right answer to living your life. Anyway, this was kind of funny.
Calories that someone in sub-Saharan Africa has access to now. They have access to as many calories per day as the typical person in Portugal did in 1960. So it's a walloping transformation. They've passed satiety. So what will happen now is that the next problem on the consumption side that faces sub-Saharan Africans on average will be a rise in obesity. But the problem with statistics or even ideas that concentrate on the average is you don't take into account the distribution. And so just because the average has improved massively doesn't mean that there's not problems of unequal distribution, severe problems of unequal distribution. So imagine we have these are existential problems, though, in some sense. They're not political problems. They're deeper than political problems.
But redistribution is not a political problem. It's an existential problem. Don't worry. Anyway.
You have the problem of absolute privation, and that's the normal state of affairs. You're born with nothing in some sense. Right. Left to your own devices, you just starve and die. So that's the susceptibility to absolute privation. And then the second problem is the susceptibility to relative privation. And those are both big problems. And so the optimists say, well, look, we're really, really solving the problem of absolute privation. And they say, well, every day, 200,000 people in the world are lifted out of the UN's definition of abject poverty. So maybe they slide from $1.90 a day to $2.10 a day. And that's to be celebrated, but then at the same time, you can say, well, yeah, but they're still living on $2.10 a day. And both of those are right simultaneously. Like, it is something worth celebrating, but it's also, there's still the lingering problem of relative deprivation. And when you hear everybody rattling about inequality, that's why. And no shit. It's not like there's not a valid point there.
Doesn't it kind of sound like he understands the concept?
Well, it's the whole point of a guy like Jordan Peterson is that he knows what the correct analysis is, right? Probably, but he's paid to kind of, give these it's like, yeah, he just identified a completely correct analysis of the situation, but his solution is going to be complete horseshit, right?
Yeah. We were just covering this recently on the show, which is why I thought this was interesting. Bernie, was tweeting about how we shouldn't be wasting money essentially on space travel while people are literally starving in this country. And he responded, subtext, those who dare to be interested in the exploration of space are nowhere near as moral as those of us who care so much for the poor. So, basically completely hypocritical. If you understand that, wealth is being hoarded by people like Elon Musk, for example, and that the distribution is not equitable, which is resulting in people living on starvation wages and literally dying, then why are you not going to understand the concept that maybe people like Elon Musk shouldn't have enough money to literally fund missions to Mars while other people are sleeping on the streets, right? Like, it just seems like a totally hypocritical, deflection. And I don't understand how you could think both things at once.
I don't know. Maybe it's juvenile of me, but why don't he just shut the fuck up?
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah. That whole tweet at Bernie Sanders is stupid because, we can do both. We can want to explore space, but also have the moral clarity to make sure that people aren't going without. And the thing is that it doesn't make one person more moral than the other. is just that it's all about prioritizing, because as much as I want to get to Mars, but I also want to make sure that the people neighbors down the street aren't starving to death.
Yeah.
So, and also it's even more of an incentive to me, if you're going to explore space and you realize that you're all part of a cosmic whole, that you would make sure that everybody's taken care of first before you do anything else.
Instead of this maximalist extractive perspective, which they have, which is, oh, we are going to destroy the planet Earth with capitalism because of the maximalist extraction that these uber capitalists like Bezos and Musk understand inherently. These guys understand that they are going to take and pry every bit of resources from this Earth and then leave it behind. That's why they're obsessed with space travel, right? And I do think, just to respond to this, and I know we covered it when he tweeted this initially, but I do think that it is fucking ridiculous to say, oh, there isn't a clear moral choice to be made between, oh, I want to explore the stars, and oh, I want to make sure that the people who are living on $1.88 a day live on fucking $15 an hour, $20 a minimum hour, whatever we decide is the minimum wage for the West, the global West. It should be that way for the global South and all of the country, and fixing the entire economic system that has to be a part of that. So the sort of cognitive disconnect and the mental gymnastics that guys like Peterson will do to try and make themselves appear virtuistic, try and make themselves appear empathetic, are it's just all for show. And they're going to continue to pretzel and bend back into a way to, spending your money responsibly and making your bed in the morning and, never calling anybody by the pronoun that they fucking prefer. That's what's going to solve this problem.
Individualism is going to be the death of us. Exactly. And the thing is that people like, Elon Musk and Bezos and all those other ones who basically they are the villains of modern society. They are
Elon Musk is Lex Luthor.
Oh, of course. Dr. Evil if you're got a big enough imagination. But
he does look more like him, yeah. Just a slightly, more emaciated Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
Bezos has more Luther vibes, but you get what I'm going with.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But that whole individualistic mindset is, it puts themselves first over everyone else, and back to Jordan Peterson's point about when you're born, you're born with nothing, and without any assistance, you will die. That actually is part of the entire crux of the collectivist mindset. You're born because, you survive being born because of someone helping you and coming together. That's basically inherently collectivist. We're not born and then we stand up upright on 2 feet when 2 hours after we're born.
There's literally that saying, it takes a village. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So therefore, you have to start thinking of the world as one village. And that's the problem. Like, for instance, here in the United States, we're the United States. It's just us. And this is one of the things that actually have a gripe about this country, is that people are so me oriented that to them it's like, fuck the world doesn't matter. When the thing is that, if we continue with this trend, for instance, with climate change, guess what? We're going to die anyway.
Yep.
So I don't give a shit how my bed is made. I give a shit about who's eating.
Yeah.
I get a shit who has health care. Yep. The thing is that, yeah, you have some of these people who are like Bezos and Mr. Emerald Mines over there, and they want to basically take all the wealth from the people who, helped create that wealth for them, from their labor.
We'll do wherever we want.
And then they want to hoard it all, and then they expect everybody to be able to survive, when they've hoarded all the wealth that they were supposed to have originally in the first place.
100%. Yeah, I saw the other day that Jeff Bezos is on track by like 2026. He'll have $1 trillion, right? I mean, it's that. I mean, it's that kind of exponential growth that, I mean, obviously it's unsustainable, but it's going to reach a point where even the 1%ers are battling out only amongst the 1% because there's no wealth amongst the working poor and the proletariat to vacuum up anymore. But
I should have smoked some weed before the show.
well, next time you come on, we'll get a sesh going.
Yeah.